In honor of the Pope being American now, Kevin, we are going to ask him to pray for the Saints defense. Thomas, hit that intro.
Welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. We always have a source.
Dave remains quiet because he continues to search for that he can't find.
What did Nola Fredo say?
Yeah, try to get saved by Nola Fredo. That's a great strategy.
Now grab a drink and enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. As always, we are brought to you by Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey. I got Thomas running the show back in Poland. I got Kevin with me. If you find us on the YouTubes, leave a comment. It helps us out tremendously, and it doesn't cost you anything. All right, so last week, we did buy or sell the Saints offense. This week, we're doing buy or sell the Saints defense. And in honor of the Pope now being American, America, we dominate everything now.
America!
It's right. We've checked every box. America.
No, we haven't gotten a World Cup yet.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you, when America, and it's just, it'll happen. It will happen. But when the United States wins the World Cup, you can close it all down.
You close it all down because we'll
close it all down.
Have checked every box. The Pope was one. I'll say, Kevin, if you said what's going to happen first, win a World Cup or get an American Pope, I would have bet on the World Cup first. I didn't think American Pope was ever going to happen.
Never going to happen. And best of all, he's from Chicago, or he was born in Chicago. So you got Cubs fans trying to claim, Chicagoans are insufferable enough as it is. They're more insufferable now. You got St. Louisans trying to get their piece into him, saying, well, he was here in 1977 and 78 for his, for part of his training, novitiate thing. Then you got people in New Orleans.
That's right.
Saying his maternal grandparents are Cajun Louisianan. And, everybody's trying to find a piece. Hey, how are we connected to this guy? How are we connected? You got Knicks fans saying that because the Pope went to Villanova and most of the Knicks lineup went to Villanova, it's the Knicks' destiny now.
Dude, Knicks fans.
I love it. Look, I love it. It's all... one of my coworkers yesterday had a very poignant thing, and I don't think she understood how poignant it was. She said that she was telling her friends that she was so excited about this, and her friends were like, why? Like, why do you care? Like you don't go to church, or you're not, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
Like, it's just nice. It's just nice to have something monumental happen in the news, and it's not chaos.
That's right.
Like we're not going through a pandemic. We're not in a war. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. This isn't, these people aren't going at it. It's not, they're electing a pope. It's a nice thing overall, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. I'm sure
that's a great point. Like, it was really fun to have like a news story that was like the story of the year in the entire world, and it's not chaos, destruction.
Right.
So, speaking of chaos,
speaking
of chaos, it's a great segue. Speaking of chaos, the Saints defense, buy or sell last week with the offense. By the way, you should check it out. It's one of our highest downloaded shows of the offseason. You should check it out. It's really good. It was fun because me and Kevin went back and forth. He had positives with the wide receivers, offensive line, a lot of buying, a lot of selling, a lot of positive vibes about the offense, of how it can go. And Kevin, I'm just here to tell you the defense, I don't feel that way at all. This defense is potentially very, very bad. I don't think it'll be 2012 level Saints bad.
Is it spag-worthy?
Yeah, it's not going to be spag-worthy bad. It's not going to be 14-15 bad. But it might be 2016 bad, which was run-of-the-mill, bottom of the league, trash bad. Like, this defense, I have this fear that because we hated Dennis Allen and because Dennis Allen was a bad head coach, and he was, we forget that he did do some positive things. And I believe his brilliance as a defensive coordinator may have kept this defense afloat like a year or two longer than it should have been.
Careful, Ralph. You're not allowed to say anything positive about Dennis Allen, Mickey Loomis, or Derek Carr ever.
And
I'm gonna just blame some on DA just because.
The problem is this defense. It was terrible last year. It was bottom 3 by almost any metric you want to do.
Yeah.
Run defense, yards per rush, all of it, right? And they're bringing most of it back. The older guys, they do have some young blood that can maybe push these old guys out, but I don't think that's going to happen at first. So, like, overall, I believe that there is a possibility that the offense exceeds expectations in a good way, and the defense exceeds our fears, our expectations in the worst way. And that it's very scary because I think the defense, I think it's going to be bad. It may be even worse than that, Kevin.
I would agree with that. Like, I don't see much in the way of hope in terms of, like, the Saints right now. I'm looking at the numbers. Total defense yards per game, they were third from the bottom. Like, they allowed 379.9 yards per game. I mean, that's abysmal.
And
these
aren't even
that's absolutely abysmal. Like, their passing game defense, 238.5 yards per game. That was 27th in the league. Rushing defense, Jesus. Somehow the rushing defense. The rushing defense was so bad. They are only saved from being the worst rushing defense in the league by the fact that the Carolina Panthers
exist.
Were an absolute translucent sheet on running defense. They were dead last for 179.8 yards per game, 38.5 yards worse than the Saints.
That's right. That's like nearly like a half of rushing yards for like a mediocre running team. Almost difference. But here's the thing that's so horrifying. Kevin didn't even get into like advanced statistics. Kevin's just giving you like old school yards per game, which the nerds will tell you, sometimes that doesn't tell you the whole story. But it does.
There you go. Points per game. Points allowed per game on average. They were 19th. They gave up 23.4. Red zone defense. Let's see. Red zone defense, they were 15th. Third down defense, they were 21st. Like, you're not, when you have a defense, when that's your defense and your offense isn't exactly inspiring, you've got a rookie starting 7 games who can't avoid getting sacked, and you've got your high-priced starter, your high-priced guy, who is, at best, the 15th or 16th best quarterback in the league. Things have to break 80-90% your way in order to really have a crack.
Here's the thing with the defense. If you look at the defense, the first month and a half, the defense was basically living off turnovers and being good in the red zone. And everything else was shit. Okay? And we said it. We're like, this is not sustainable. Like, just like red zone excellence isn't sustainable at like a super elite level. Same thing with the defense. And it really came apart when they played Kansas City, because Kansas City, They were missing a bunch of dudes. They were missing a bunch of offensive linemen. Their receivers stunk. And the Kansas City Chiefs were just like, don't worry about it, Patrick. We're just going to run the ball right down the Saints' fucking throat. And Kansas City, if they'd have needed to score 45, they'd have scored 45. And that's when it kind of came apart. That's the delineation of like when all the underlying things that were kind of holding the Saints defense together came apart. But let's start it. Let's start by position, Kevin. Kevin, Thomas put it up there. Let's start with the defensive line. Are we buying or selling the defensive line?
Sell. Sell. Sell some more. I would rather buy fictitious stock or fictitious good, fictitious points in frozen concentrated orange juice. Okay.
Would you rather buy the Saints defensive ends or a cryptocurrency by the Hawk Tua girl?
Oh. Come on,
How
man.
much Hawk and how much Tua am I getting?
You're getting like $4,000 of Hawk Tua cryptocurrency.
All I'm getting is the cryptocurrency.
You're getting that's all you get. You're not getting anything else, just the cryptocurrency.
Kevin's contemplating.
I know silence is bad for audio, but I assure you, I'm making my point.
I mean, it's a hard call.
Like, you're telling me choose between an obvious scam, a proven scam that's going to cost you money,
That's right.
or watch this team that you don't have to invest any money in. Watch these defensive ends. And I'm still debating it. Or I'm still internalizing it.
Talk about
I will barely say the defensive ends because I don't have that much money to lose in the first place. So the defensive ends take it by dean of I'm poor.
Yeah, the defensive ends for the Saints. Here's the struggle with it is you've got Chase Young, who I think Chase Young's going to be good. I think the 3-4 will help him. I think Staley he'll be. I think put it this way, Chase Young, the Saints are going to get what they paid for. Like, and here's the thing. If you pay a dude $18 million, I know this is going to blow some people's minds, but like if Chase Young gets you 7.5, 8 sacks, like that's an $18 million a year end. I know that's insane in 2025. And you're like, I don't know, Ralph. If you're making that kind of money, you should be a double-digit sack guy. No. If you're a consistent double-digit sack guy, you make 25 to 30 million a year.
Right,
so like,
but here's the thing. He has never gotten more than 7.5 sacks in a single season.
If he gets 7.5 sacks, that's kind of like what he's like. That's kind of what they're paying him for.
Look, I would be happy if he got 7.
Yeah.
And his tackles improved, and like his what do you call it? Like breakups, like where he sends the quarterback scrambling, like those kinds of things.
Hits,
pressures.
Yeah.
Pressures.
Yeah. I'll be happy with that. Like, let's get all that up and let's just get the sacks to, 7.
Thomas, did you put the rookie Diggs? Did you put him at defensive tackle, or did you put him here, or did you put him at linebacker? Where is it?
Let me check.
Because I think he needs to be in this list, which is fine if he's not.
He's listed among linebackers on ESPN.
So yeah, well, I mean, we'll get them, but I think he means if you had to pick one guy on this list. Not that I'm gonna hold you to it, but if we were like in Vegas and I was like, hey Kevin, we're gonna play roulette, and here's $100. Like you gotta pick a number. You gotta pick a guy on this list that you would say, if I have to pick from this sad list of guys, who's a guy that could overachieve, that could surprise us in a positive way. And you don't have to pick a young guy or a guy that hasn't. You can pick Granderson. You could pick Cam Jordan. You could pick Foskey, a rump of these. And like, who would a guy, if I told you, you gotta buy a lottery ticket for them to overachieve, which one would you bet on?
Does it have to be one of these 6 here?
I mean, you can give me another one if you prefer.
So, because we don't have Bresee on here.
Because we haven't got tackles yet. This is just
and we don't have. Well, no, but Bresee and Broughton are both listed as ends.
That's right. Could be.
And the tackles are Shepard and Godchow, but I'll say Vernon Broughton.
Ooh, I like that.
If I can get something out of that rookie right off the jump, and he's able to come in 3rd round, make an immediate impact start, and make some hay. Like if we're having that end of the season discussion and we're like, hey, they actually did the right thing taking Vernon Broughton in the 3rd round. Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Go to defensive tackles, Thomas. We'll just do them together because the line, the Saints line it's obviously in flux because you're gonna have defensive tackles and defensive ends, and you don't quite know where they're gonna play Bresee. You don't quite know how they're going to do Foskey. Is he going to be a stand-up guy? Is he going to, with the Saints, he hardly played. But if, at Notre Dame, when he stood up, he was better. He's got elite RAS. So that's an interesting thing. With this group, as Kevin runs off.
I'm here.
With this group, Kevin, if you told me I had to pick one of them, I would pick Bresee in this sense. If Bresee can go from an absolute disaster versus the run, he's a disaster versus the run. Absolute disaster by any advanced metric. Even me, I'm not a tape watcher. I don't even pretend to really be, but I do watch some of it. And even I'm like, dude, he got run over. He's getting crushed in the run game. It's that obvious. But if he can go from an abomination against the run to below average versus the run and stay at a 5 or above sack guy, you got a player at defensive tackle.
It's got to be higher. It's got to be higher than that. Because he had 4.5 his rookie year and he had 7.5 last year. Let's cut it and say 6.5. 6.5 or 7 sacks, and his run defense goes up goes above below average to mediocre.
Okay, Ben. He's a $20 million a year defensive end. If he gets to 6.5 sacks and he's average versus the run, he's 6.5. If they're playing him inside, he's even more valuable. Because I know he's a super athletic freak, but I'm curious to see if they play him at end, what happens. But this group, from top to bottom, it's just like, it's not that any of them are horrifically bad. It's just that they're all just a guy that you have on your roster. Like, I believe there's going to be, because they can't keep them all, right, on these defensive ends and defensive tackles. Like, the Saints can't keep them all. But, like, Nathan Shepard, Colin Sanders, like, those guys, if the Saints cut them, they're going to get claimed, I think, because the team will be like, well, he started for the Saints and we need a third string defensive tackle or whatever. Like, I would think a bunch of these guys are going to be tricky to get through waivers if the Saints are like, hey, we want to cut him and we want to get him. We want to get Ridgeway. We want him on the practice squad. We're tight in roster spots. I think a couple of these guys are going to be, it's going to be weird, Kevin. They're going to be hard to cut and sneak through waivers. But if they don't get through waivers, we're not going to miss them at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because they're just guys. Yeah. Like, they're just bodies.
Like, they've got so many bodies on defense. and so many questions on defense. It's like, yeah, I'm looking up at the offense and I'm seeing like, well, they got a lot of bodies on offense. I'm like, yeah, but you can pick out, like, all right, the quarterback's either going to be this guy or this guy. The lead running back is going to be Kamara. The lead wide receiver is going to be Olave. The lead tight end is still Juwan Johnson. Your offensive line is likely these 5 guys, possibly a 6th guy in a different spot, or 2 of the, like, you've got all that figured out. It's just a question of depth and who's going to be like your 3rd and your 4th guys at wide receiver. Defense is the harder road to hoe because who do you put at defensive end? Who do you put in the middle at nose tackle? Do you, is Cam Jordan going to start? Is he really the starter? Does somebody come up and supplant him in that? Does somebody supplant Demario Davis at linebacker? Tyrann Mathieu at safety? You've got all these bodies back here, especially on the defensive line. And you have to sift through that and say, like you said, if we cut this guy or try and put him on the practice squad, get him through waivers, yada, 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 is he going to make it? And there's 4 or 5 of them that I don't think will make it through waivers. There's 4 or 5 guys here that if they get cut, will easily be picked up by somebody else and will become either a starter or the number 2 guy and get a lot of reps for some other team. Yeah, which is why I would advocate during the preseason and training camp and all these other things. This team needs to figure out Diggs, Boyd, Godchow, Foskey, Broughton, Brasive, Ridgeway. Figure out all of those guys and start saying, here's who we're going to keep, and then worry about, like, you're not getting rid of Cam Jordan. Like, just, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not getting rid of Chase Young. But then you look at Nathan Shepard and Kalen Saunders and you're making, and Granderson, and you're making decisions from there. But take care of the guys at the back end. Look at them. Give them the reps. You know what you already have in Saunders, in Granderson.
You got a new defense, though, do you? I mean, you might.
I'd rather sift through the younger guys figure out who you see as being there 2 years from now.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's the difference between on offense and on defense. And on offense, when we talked about it, we're like, well, we like Olave if he's healthy. We like Shaheed if he's healthy. On defense, we don't really talk about it much, but there is a sense, especially by me and on this podcast, that like we want these old guys pushed out. We want the Foskys, the Diggs, the Stutzman when we get to linebacker. We want the Sankers. We want all these guys, these young guys, to play and push all these old veterans out because we see that they're starting to decline. And that brings us to the next position, linebacker, Kevin. Listen, it's exceedingly difficult to talk about these guys because they are icons. They are beloved. Like Cam Jordan, slam dunk Ring of Honor for the Saints. I believe Demario Davis, slam dunk Ring of Honor guy for the Saints. Like, so you've got these 2 guys that have been pillars. And like Demario Davis, I really think when I say he's the best free agent signing in Saints history, not named Drew Brees, I don't think there's another person that's even close to his credentials. Maybe Joe Horn, but Joe Horn never got the accolades that Demario Davis did. So it's just hard in that we love these guys, right? But you look at it, and Demario Davis, whenever the Saints played a halfway decent team, he got run over. Like that, I mentioned it a lot, but that Raiders game, Kevin, that game to me was an indictment of, I don't care about scheme and Grantham and effort and coaching changes. A lot of these dudes on this defense are washed. Like the Raiders came in and hadn't had a 100-yard rusher in like 2.5 years, I think, or something insane. And they just walked the Saints down on defense. And the Raiders, that was O'Connell at quarterback and running back that you don't even remember. So, like, this defense is bad, and Demario Davis is a big part of that. And I need these linebackers. I need them to start I need people to get pushed out. I need Stutzman to be I need him to be playing. Pete Werner, the Saints gave him an extension. They don't pay him a ton, but he's another guy. It's like with Ruiz on offense, right? It's like Ruiz isn't terrible, but like they pay him to be a top 10 guard and he's not. Like I feel like the way Werner has been playing, the Saints pay him like $8-9 million a year. I feel like you could go and get a guy off the street that will give you 75-80% of Werner and you pay him 20% as much. So I want this linebacker is totally different, hopefully, by the end of the year. You know?
Again, it's another that's another situation, like again, where you've got bodies on bodies, and it's like, yeah, Foskey is listed here among the linebackers. Rumpf here is listed among the linebackers on ESPN. Figure out whether or not they fit in or not. Like, you're obviously going to play Demario Davis. Your intention is to play Pete Werner. Like, Granderson is listed here as a linebacker. Chase Young is listed here as a linebacker. Like, see if the young guys are see who can be see who is your number twos, and then see if any of them can potentially come in and say, hey, we got a guy who either comes close to equaling or equals Demario Davis. I don't know if any of the young guys are going to come in and immediately top Demario Davis, but I said this last night on the Discord group chat.
Discord
group call.
By the way, become a gold member and you can get access to that replay that we do every week. And if you want to just join us, just be a regular patron with Discord access at any level, and you can join us every Thursday night at 9:00. We talk Saints for an hour.
So I said last night, with in regard to Stutzman and Demario Davis, that there is an axiom of you've got two baseball players. One is a longtime veteran, and the other is a rookie. They both run to first base in the exact same time. The veteran, perfect form, immaculate stride, knows how to use his arms and pump his legs and all that kind of stuff. The rookie doesn't know how to do any of that. Which player do you take? You take the rookie, because when you teach the rookie perfect form, he will get to first base faster.
Yeah. I think the football analogy here would be like Demario Davis, he never makes mental mistakes.
Right.
Because he's a great veteran, but he can't run side to side anymore fast enough to make the tackles and fill the holes, right?
Right.
Stutzman only makes the play 60% of the time, and 40% of the time he's fucking up because he doesn't have the mental reps. He doesn't quite know the defense. He's hitting the wrong gap. He's making the wrong, he's reading the wrong keys along the offensive line, and he's fucking up 4 out of 10 times. But 60% of the time, he makes the tackle. Same as Demario Davis. You play Stutzman because you know when he gets these reps, he's going to be better. And he's going to be a guy who's going to be on the team in 2026. Demario Davis is not. And it becomes challenging, Kevin, because these are your vets. These are your pillars. These are your guys who maybe run your locker rooms. These are your leaders. So how do you phase them out gently, gracefully? I don't know the term. At linebacker, to me, if you told me the Saints, if you said of the defensive guys they picked, Broughton, Stutzman, Diggs, and the corner from Louisville,
Quincy Riley.
If you said pick one of those dudes who's going to play more than 50% of the snaps, I would pick Stutzman. I think he has the best chance to start to phase out Demario Davis. And I know people are probably screaming, have you seen corner? You're going to get to corner. It's terrible. I get all that. But I think Stutzman, I would rank it Stutzman, then Riley, then Sanker at safety. But we'll get to safety in just a second. But overall, I gotta sell the linebackers too. I'm not trusting this group for anything.
I'm also selling the linebackers.
Sell.
Yeah, it just occurred to me. We didn't say sell yet until you brought it up. I'd forgotten all about the whole gimmick of this thing.
That's right. I
got so excited just saying sell on the defensive ends.
We're selling defensive ends. We're selling defensive tackles. Now we're selling linebackers. I will say the thing that I like about this group at linebacker is at least here they have invested some decent picks. Because teams don't value linebackers, right? Like teams don't necessarily pick linebackers second, third round, first round. So you've got some guys here where the defensive line, they still need to next year, if things go well and you're like, hey, we got Chuck and we're making progress on offense and we've got the line settled in. Like next year, I could see the Saints being like, okay, let's fix this. Let's fix these pass rush. Let's go defensive end, and really try to bolster that. But at least at linebacker, you got Stutzman, you got Jalen Ford. I know he was hurt last year, but you got some dudes that maybe one of them could shake out and you could feel, I feel like it's very unlikely that we'll feel better about defensive end pass rush than we do right now. I think at the end of the year, we're probably not going to feel any better about it. With linebacker, yes, I'm selling it, but there is more hope with this group than on the defensive line. Is that fair? Is that fair to say? Or
no, seems fair. That seems fair. Again, if Stutzman can come in and see meaningful playing time, and you can say, I see it. This is a guy. This is going to be the guy who's going to be on this team for the next 8 years, and and he's just going to be a solid guy for the next 8 years. Great. If I can get either Jalen Ford or Anthony Orji or Nefi Sewell, one of those three guys to step up and say, hey, just one of them, and say, we deserve playing time, and not just in blowouts or in the last game of the season when things are decided. If one of them can make a case to say, we should be considered for a starting job because we've earned it, I will go into 2026 feeling more optimistic about the linebacker position. I'll still probably advocate for drafting another linebacker, but I'll go in feeling more optimistic.
And here's the thing. I want Stutzman to be on the Onyemata plan. David Onyemata, he's an enemy now. He's dead to us because he plays for the Falcons and he's kind of washed. But the thing is with him, when the Saints drafted him out of Canada in 2016, trade up. We hated it at the time. We're like, you traded up for this dude from Canada. Yes, he's a Raz God. Oh my God, this seems problematic. But the thing with Onyemata was the Saints were kind of terrible, same situation on defense and defensive line. And they played Onyemata. As a rookie, I want to say he played almost 40% of the snaps. And he was mostly a disaster. But there were moments in that season, the comeback against the Chargers and other games, where he would make a play and you would be like, oh my God, he just threw that dude like a rag doll and swallowed that running back whole. That kid, like I see it. I see why they picked him. I see why they traded up. I see the vision. It might not get there. It might take a little while, but I see it. That's what I want from Stutzman. I want me, you, Andrew, Dave, talking about, oh my God, do you see that play that Stutzman made where he ran side to side and got that running back on the boundary and stuffed them on 3rd and 2? Like, that's what I want from Stutzman. I want to see the flashes. I want to see why everybody was so excited about him by the end of the year, but I gotta sell this. It's sad. All right, now we get to safety, and here's a thing with safety that is very. I'm going to try to be delicate.
Why?
Fans.
Why? I ask again. Why? You know what? Everybody's got that S. Everybody's got that S by their name on the rundown that Tomas has on the screen. You know what that S stands for? Sell. Sell. I am selling. I'm selling.
Here's the thing. Safety play for the Saints. Everybody, a lot of Saints fans are like, why did you sign Justin Reed? Like, you had so many other needs. Why did you sign Justin Reed to a 3-year, $33 million contract or whatever it was? Why did you do that? You know why they did that, Kevin? Because if you go to advanced analytics and you go to tackles made and filling gaps, the Saints' safety play, I would argue, was the worst in the sport. They're dreadful. And the reason why it's difficult is we all love Tyrann Mathieu. We love him. He's from New Orleans. He is a New Orleans guy, and he was great. When the Saints got him in 2022, it took him about 6 weeks to figure it out. And in 2022 and 2023, he was really good. He was a really, really good safety. He made a ton of plays, and he was good. In 2024, he looked old, he looked slow, he looked small, and that's a problem because we love him. But this safety play was absolutely dreadful. Justin Reed is going to help it. I think the Saints, I know they talked about Sanker being, hey, he can start on special teams. He's a special teams demon, and that's where we're going to play him. I think the Saints' new coaching staff have drafted him, and they want to get Tyrann Mathieu up out of here in the gentlest, nicest way possible.
Like I'm looking at the PFF. I'm looking at a PFF breakdown here of all the safeties from 2024. Justin Reed is the highest one from the Saints, and he didn't even play on the team last year.
That's right. That's right. And he's the highest one by a lot.
He was the 11th. He's the 11th highest graded safety in the NFL.
Yeah.
So if you're asking yourself, man, why'd they go after this guy? They should have addressed. You got the 11th best safety in the league.
By the way, for the same contract that he signed 3 years ago with Kansas City.
And I'll say, so let's take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You take out 5 of those guys from the AFC. That makes Reed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That makes Reed the 6th best safety in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
You need, sometimes when you have an opportunity to grab a guy that is in that A tier, it doesn't matter if the position in terms of need is like, well, in terms of positions with needs, they're middle of the pack. We got so many needs up here. Well, you have a chance to get a guy in the top tier of his position. You take it.
And
you are improving. This is improving a position that this position is a position of need that needed improvement. It was not as poor as some other ones, granted, but it needed to be fixed. You got a guy who was near the top. Who is near the top of the heap among safeties in the league. You get that guy on your team. You get him on the team.
Yes. I would argue this position is as bad as every other one we've talked about. It might even be worse. But the one thing I will say is this is the one position for the Saints on the defense that I can talk myself into buying. And here's why.
Are you going to buy right now?
I am going to buy, and here's why.
Okay.
You just made the case for me. You got a top 5, 6 safety in the NFC now with Reed. You've got Sanker, who I really, really like. I really like him. So if he can bump Tyrann Mathieu to your third down specialty package safety where you just say, hey, Tyrann Mathieu, hunt big plays. Your job is you're not going to play a ton of snaps. You're going to play 30, 40% of the snaps, whatever, and you're going to hunt big plays. If we can get to third and long, if we can get the obvious passing situations, you can hunt big plays. And yes, your physical skills are diminished, but you're still the freaking honey badger. You still have great football IQ, instincts, all of it. You can hunt big plays. If the Saints can get to that post-Thanksgiving, I'll be ecstatic. Because what?
Listen, so you're buying. Okay, I'm still selling. We ain't changing. I'm not changing that. In terms of what we've talked about thus far, which of this so far do I think I have the greatest chance of eating shit? So far, it's this because of Justin Reed. Because, look, I'm not plugged in on Jonas Sanker, but people seem high on this guy. People seem to think it was a possible steal, yada, yada, yada. Okay, if he can come in and show me something where it's like, all right, if this is Tyrann Mathieu's last season and he's retiring, I feel fine handing it off to as Jonas Sanker, next man up sort of thing. Like he can be the starter next year. Okay, fine. I feel fine with that. And if Justin Reed comes in and says, this is going to be my unit and puts his stamp on it and takes, takes it by the throat, great. I would, again, I've said this on the Big Show. I think I said this the not this one, but the one before. I would love to be wrong. On a whole bunch of these things. I think I even said it when it was just me and you talking about the offense. I'm not saying this shit because I need to be right. I don't care if I'm right. I would rather the team be great and kick ass and all this other stuff. But you're asking me what I think?
Yes.
That's all I can tell you.
That's right.
I'm not going to come here. Listen, if the defensive ends are shit, if the linebackers don't show enough, if the defensive tackles don't show enough, I'm not going to come out here and be doing this left and right and like, let me just pat myself on the back like I'm Barry Horowitz. This ain't going to be that. I would much prefer being like, man, these guys really showed me something. I'm surprised. I am so delighted to be wrong. I'm so delighted to be wrong because it ain't about me. It really isn't. I know it's my face and my voice on this damn podcast, but it ain't about me. It's about the team. And if the team is good, I'm happy. That's it. Right.
Nothing will delight me more, Kevin, than like mid-October, people are throwing my Foskey tweets in my face. Because I was like, Foskey is not balling. He's not going to be Zach Ballin. He's not going to turn it around with the new scheme. It's not going to happen. And
by all means,
I would be delighted.
Takes you. Send your shit to Freezing Cold Takes. I would love it.
I would love it.
I would love it. Because guess what? Unlike a lot of other people, unlike the intelligentsia, I got no problem admitting I'm wrong. Zero. Zero.
You were wrong. Foskey's got 9 sacks.
I've been wrong before. Yes, I will be wrong again. No problem with that.
Here is a legitimate, and then when we'll get to corner, but before we do, this is a legit positive scenario that I think can happen for the Saints. I laid it out. Reed is playing. Sanker is starting. Honey Badger is playing the third down role. He's hunting big plays. And come December, even though Honey Badger's only playing like 35, maybe 40% of the plays, the media is talking to him is like, hey, Honey Badger, you got 4 picks and you've caused 3 fumbles. You're playing pretty freaking great in your limited role. Do you want to come back? And he'll be like, yeah, I want to come back. And the Saints will be like, yeah, he's old, but we found a cool role for him. If he wants to come back in 2026 and do the same thing, that'll be just fine with us. That's a scenario at safety that I can see. And that's why I'm buying. And it might be, well, the only position I'm going to buy because, Kevin, it's time for corner. And oh, Lord in heaven, corner. It's a lot of, oh, shit. At corner. Let's just be real about it, okay? You got Kool-Aid McKinstry, who played decent. He's going to be one of your outside guys. They want to put Alontae Taylor in the slot. He's not an outside corner. When he plays in the slot and he blitzes and he does all the cool stuff, he's good. I think Alontae Taylor is potentially like an elite slot corner. I wish they would just play him there. And dude, you can make $10, $11 million a year in the slot. Like, I don't understand the need to be on the outside. So you got in the slot. The problem, Kevin, is everywhere else on your 3rd and 4th and 5th corner, you're counting on Riley, a very good pick that people like in Louisville. Rookie corners tend to get burned, and it's a rough year. You brought back Isaac Yiadom, who, listen, people are like, he's fine. My worry with Yiadom is he a product of the Dennis Allen lays hands on a dude in the secondary and they become good, but when they don't have Dennis Allen laying the hands on them, they're not any good anymore? That's my concern with him. I just look at this bunch and I think we're going to be hating them all because we just talked about the front 7 of this defense and how we either hate it or we're buying it because we see a vision of hopes and dreams at safety that might not be terrible. But the linebackers and the defensive line, we just talked about how it's not that good. I believe these corners are going to get, as my 9-year-old son likes to say, cooked and cooked good.
So I'm a sell.
Yeah.
Obviously. PFF graded 116 cornerbacks in 2024. The highest that is one of the Saints corners, the highest Saints corner on this list, but if this scroll would work, is Kool-Aid McKinstry at 51. Alontae Taylor, dead fucking last. 116 out of 116. His overall grade, PFF for defense, 45.
Whew.
Now here's the funny thing. His run defense grade, he's like the 11th, what the hell is it, 5, 10, he's the 13th best cornerback when it comes to run defense. And then pass rush drops further. Coverage, abysmal. Dead last again. 35.4 is the grade.
The thing is,
so when you have a cornerback that can't cover,
it's a problem.
What are we doing here?
It's bad. It's not good. And the thing is with this group is I believe the absolute positive best case for it is Taylor plays in the slot and gets better, and you're like, okay, he's pretty good in the slot. Maybe we should keep him. We should re-sign him. Kool-Aid McKinstry improves, and you feel good about him at corner. But I'm telling you, that other corner, your other outside corner, your other outside corner, your 4th corner, those are going to be an abyss. I think even if Riley plays a ton, me and you are going to be screaming and yelling at each other. And one of us will be saying, we don't need a corner. He played 75% of the snaps as a rookie. That's solid. It's not a huge need. And the other one of us will be like, he's rated 100 out of 115 corners. I don't care that he played 80% of the snaps. He played 80% of the snaps and he was terrible. So like, I just don't see a path for this group being even a top 25 cornerback room in the NFL. I don't see it.
I mean, you're look 25 is optimistic, my man. Like, it just, I mean, seriously, I got to look at, I'm looking at these names here, and it's like, God, I need, like, Kool-Aid McKinstry needs to take some kind of a leap this coming season. So we can point to somebody and say this guy is a leader in the group, because the next best corner is Isaac Yiadom, and he's 80th. He's 80th. When your second best corner, I'm sorry, your third best corner is Ugo Secret Amadi, who ain't even shown up on this thing. He's actually listed as a safety, yet for some reason PFF is counting him as a corner. When your second and third best corners are Yiadom and Amadi, who is listed as NB on ESPN. I keep forgetting what the hell that means. Mm-hmm. We got problems. We've got problems.
I'm just going to throw this out here.
So please, Quincy Riley, if Quincy Riley just immediately grabs the bull by the horns and says, if you're not starting me, then I'm the number 3 guy instantaneously, because damn it, I've proven that I'm better than the rest of these guys. And as soon as 1 or 2 slags off or doesn't, or shows they don't have it, I can immediately go in and make a difference.
Kevin, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to make.
Please.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Here we go, Tomas.
I think the Saints, they want to roll over their $20+ million in cap space. They want to roll it over. I think that's crystal clear. They want to roll it over. You get the little cap increase next year, and they'll be pretty much flat. They'll be about even in the salary cap, except for Chris Olave's 5th-year option. So they'll be about $15 million under the cap if they roll over $20 million and they get the bump, because the nerds are always under guesstimating the cap. It'll be about $5 to $7 million above what the nerds say. That's how it always goes. I think the Saints want to roll over that $21 million of cap space. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make a prediction. They're going to get to rookie minicamp. They're going to have maybe another regular minicamp. They're going to get into training camp. And Brandon Staley is going to walk into Kellen Moore's office and say, my brother in Christ, get Mickey Loomis in here and get me a fucking corner and sign Asante Samuel. And they will sign Asante Samuel at some point before the season starts for like 1 year, $5 million. And it's not that they think he's good, and it's not that they think they're a contender, so they need to add a corner. It's just so that the cornerback room can have some sort of rickety, rotting floor, because right now it don't have no floor at all. And I'm just telling you, that's my prediction. They're going to sign Asante Samuel Jr.
Hang on. Let me. Wait a minute. This guy, don't tell me this guy wasn't even showing. Ugh. I tell you what, I can't even find Asante Samuel on this list. Can we get, I just had his name pull up. Look, I know I'm asking for a lot here. You know, like, are you there, God? It's me, your pal Kevin. Can we get something out of Dallas Beanham? Like, can we get something out of him? This would be the nicest thing South Dakota could possibly do right about now. Okay? Like, really. Can we get, look, Quincy Riley has to come in and immediately make a case to be the number 3 guy from Jump Street. Dallas Beanham, if he can come in and beat a couple of guys out and get on the get on the depth chart, fine. Just show me that there's some turnover and that we're turning over for the better. That's all.
I just think they're gonna want a veteran guy in the room to try to stabilize it. And I'm not even saying Asante Samuel will fix it and make it better. I'm just saying it's going to be so bad, the Saints are going to do something at corner. They're going to do something. So, and I'm selling corner. They can bring Asante Samuel in here today, and I'm still selling corner.
He's 44, Ralph.
What?
He is my age.
No, his son. Asante Samuel Jr. His son. He plays for the Chargers.
Kevin, come on, man. Come on, man.
That would explain why I couldn't find him on this list.
Right.
I was looking up Dan.
He was hurt last year. He was dreadful. He didn't play much last year, and he was dreadful.
Then why are we bringing him in?
I'm a desperate man. It's desperate times.
What?
All
Listen.
right?
Brandon Staley got shit canned from the Chargers for a reason. Why are we gonna bring some middling guy just because he has a nice last name?
Yes, exactly.
Just because he has a
shiny.
No.
Over there.
No, we're not doing that. Listen, don't get me started on Brandon Staley just yet. I have not fully formulated my thoughts, but I'll tell you this: I am not super optimistic about Brandon Staley running this defense.
Me neither.
That's my preemptive strike right there. You want to know why I'm selling left and right.
Brandon Staley, I need you to game plan on defense the first preseason game and lock that terrible team down when they play their 3rd and 4th string, so we can lie to ourselves and say the defense isn't going to be.
No, so I need Brandon Staley. I need Brandon Staley to coach and scheme like he has a weapon pointed at his head. Okay, I need that.
Overall, I'm selling the whole defense, and I'm going to just be honest. I think this defense is going to land somewhere between the 2015, 2016 Saints defenses that are bad. And that range from historically bad to garden variety bad. But that's where we're going to end up on this defense. Kevin, final thoughts on the defense.
So last year we were 3rd worst. Like, honestly, I think we're going to be anywhere from 6th from the bottom to the bottom. I mean, I know that's like, oh, well, that's an improvement. I mean,
not really, my
man. If you want me to say this team looks better, like looks like we're on the right track, go from allowing 380 yards per game to 345. That's still bottom half of the league.
Yeah.
But that puts you at 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. That puts you at about 23 in the league.
If they're the 23rd
ranked, if you can get to 345, then I will come on here and say, hey, Brandon Staley proved me wrong. He exceeded my extremely low expectations. He superseded my extremely low expectations. Because look, if you have extremely low expectations, it's very easy to exceed them. He superseded them.
That's right. So, guys.
So we are in agreement. Well, no, you are selling all the units but the safeties, and I am selling everything. You're
selling it. You're liquidating. You're liquidating the portfolio. So, guys, thanks for joining us. If you like what you heard, subscribe. Share this on social medias. Go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Check us out. You'll get all our awesome content and access to our Discord, which is amazing. So thanks to Kevin. Thanks to Thomas, the best producer in the world, running the show from Poland. Jealous that the United States has our own special pope now.
Finally.
Super jealous about that. Finally, we got the little plucky the United States finally caught a break. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. And until next time, the bar is closed.